Welcome back to another episode of Cable Chatter. Today we've got a jam-packed episode for you. We've got Ted Leahey with the Preservation Society discussing the Union City Antique Mall and its 30th anniversary, which occurred on June 11th. It was a really neat opportunity to come out and see one of Union City's kind of historical landmarks. It's been around for a long time as far as I can remember. They had the Ball State Jazz Ensemble. We got a chance to record them, and so we'll have that mixed in here. On that same day, the Corner Cupboard was celebrating its 30th year in business. And I've been going to the Corner Cupboard for a long time as I was a youth and going up there looking for stuff for Mother's Day. I know we went up there a lot, getting cards and stuff like that. It's kind of a staple in Union City, and so it's exciting to see that it's having its 30th year and being celebrated. And so if you need cards or gifts or anything like that, just go up and see Shelley King at the Corner Cupboard in downtown Union City. Up next, we have some community announcements, and there's a lot of community announcements, and so if I make a mistake or mess up a name, I apologize, but there's a lot going on. There has been a lot going on in Randolph County, and there's a lot coming up here in July. On Saturday, July 9th, is the grand reopening of the Parker City Memorial Library. They'll have door prizes, food, activities, and more. Check out their Facebook page for more details. That same day at Artisan Park, there'll be a free concert at 7 p.m. featuring Tantrum. On Friday, July 15th, the Randolph County 4-H Fair begins. On Saturday, July 16th, the Town Square Community Center will be hosting their Great Gatsby Roaring 20s Adult Prom. From 8 to 11:30 p.m. that night, visit their Facebook page for more details. Tuesday through Thursday, July 19th through 21st, there'll be a Kids Art Camp and Safety Program. Lunch will be served at noon, and the program runs from 1 to 3 p.m. Visit the Arts Depot for more details. Thursday through Saturday, July 21st through 23rd, the 2022 K.I.S. GC Hawaiian Steel Guitar Festival will be coming back to the Town Square Community Center in Winchester, Indiana. Special guest is Alan Akaka from Oahu, the multi-award winning Hawaiian Music Hall of Fame artist and steel guitar instructor. Thursday, July 21st, the Rich Vogler Classic Race will be at the Winchester Speedway. Visit the Speedway Facebook page for more information. Friday through Saturday, July 22nd through the 23rd, at Harder Park, the Blazin' Barrel Series Rodeo will be occurring. On Friday, barrels and poles only, and that's at 6 p.m. And the full show will be on Saturday starting at 9 a.m. Friday, July 22nd at Goodrich Park, the free concert series will be back at 7 p.m. featuring Gene Deere and Gordon Bonham. On Saturday, July 23rd, at Artisan Park in Union City, there'll be a free concert at 7 featuring Cook and Bell. Friday, July 29th, the art show's opening reception will be featuring Pam Frazier's portraits. The show is Jeanette recording artists and women bombshells. This will be 6 to 8 p.m. That's at the Art Depot in Union City. On that same night, Goodrich Park's free concert series will be at 7 featuring Levi Driscoll. On Saturday, July 30th, children's book authors at the Art Depot will be signing their books. That's Lisa Combs and Pam Frazier. They'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. That same day, Hip Sips 2022 will be returning. That's the Art and Music Festival. It will feature Big Ginger and Blues Factor. That's at Artisan Crossing in Union City from 6 to 11 p.m. And that's all I have for community announcements. There's a lot of stuff going on in July, and I really encourage you to get out and enjoy some of those events. They're a ton of fun. But now I want to go to Ted Leahey and the Preservation Society discussing their 30th anniversary up at the Antique Mall. Well, we're back with Ted Leahey again to talk about one of the many things that he's involved in here in Union City. Specifically, today we're going to talk about the Antique Mall. June 11th was the 30th anniversary of the Antique Mall, and for me, it definitely feels like it's been around forever, and that's a big part of me being around Union City. But that hasn't always been the case, and I know it was an important venture to save that building, and I'm sure Ted's going to bring us up to speed on that. But how does the Antique Mall kind of play into the Preservation Society, and how did all that kind of come about?
Well, this all started for Preservation Society in 1987 because at that time the city administration had proposed to tear the Kirschbaum building down to put in, quote, additional parking. It would have amounted to about 6 spaces. So in the meantime, I had been involved with Betsy Jeffries and the Art Association when they took on the Depot project. Physically, stripping woodwork, fixing things, and so forth to get it ready to be the home for the Art Association. So that project was pretty well finished. And so this came up about the Kirschbaum building, and those of us that had been involved shifted then to form the Preservation Society with the specific intention of saving that building, because a cornerstone building, once it's gone, destroys the downtown in total. So anyway, so we took it on. We worked on it for a good 4 years at least, and then decided we have to do something with it. It had been used for K.I.S.S.
Sure, yeah.
At one point. You maybe remember that, or at least have read about it. And the building had been used for haunted houses and all kinds of craziness. So we first started with doing farmers markets and selling coffee and donuts out front. Okay. Christmas meetings where we brought in books and people would come and paid us a little money for a seminar about what to do for Christmas, or menus or things like that. So it came to the point where something had to be done with the building permanent in order to sustain it. And the concept of the Antique Mall came up. There were about 6 or 8 of us who decided, yes, that's what we're going to do. And so we started with 6 vendors, and interestingly, 2 high school students set up the plan for how that would operate with vendors.
Okay.
That was Matt Brim and Wendy, and they worked that summer before they went to college, and then membership took over, preservation membership took over the operation of the mall. It was very small in its beginnings, but it grew into the 33 booth spaces that we have on both the first floor and the second floor now. And so for the 30th anniversary, we did do the 25th anniversary and had a celebration then, and had Ball State Jazz Quartet who came and performed, and everybody loved that. So we decided, yes, we want to incorporate that. But the building is at the place where a lot of work has to be done again. So we have replaced damaged windows on the back of the building. We've had a lot of issues with water leakage. We so far have that controlled. There's still more work to be done. If you've been driving on Pearl Street, you probably notice exposed brick. That's all new brick that replaced an area where the brick had deteriorated, and that creates a moisture problem. All right, so I applied for a grant through the Community Foundation for the intent of doing some improvements in the mall in view of this upcoming 30th anniversary.
Sure.
So since that time, that grant that I received from the Community Foundation allowed us to have all new lighting, allowed us to have the floors stripped and waxed 9 coats of polyester wax.
Holy cow.
It was a lot of volunteer work, a new spigot put in the bathroom so water was accessible, a lot of things that just had never been done or needed to be done. As a result of that, a lot of the booth operators have cleaned up their area extensively in preparation for this celebration. So on June 11th, which was second Saturday in the city, and generally we have a lot more people downtown, we put forward our celebration of 30 years at that antique mall, and instead of disappearing, it is growing.
That's excellent.
So, and people had a great time. We had fun with red envelopes. So throughout the store, there were red envelopes hidden in sight, but I mean,
Hidden.
they had to be looking for them. They had a $20 gift certificate in them that you could use that day towards any project or any purchase that you wanted to make.
Well, that's excellent.
And so everybody had fun. Like, did you find one? Where are they? Have you seen one somewhere? And it was just interesting because we did that just for that purpose. Also, I think still a lot of people are not aware that on the second floor there is an extension of the old hotel museum. We have a museum upstairs that is industrial, meaning businesses that were downtown or things that were produced in Union City that are no longer in existence. So we have a complete section of the body company. We had Johnston Furniture Factory that made a whole collection of furniture that's on the second floor in that museum. We have also the old boxes from the original post office. We have stamps, the legal stamps that were made by Commercial Print, and the typewriters that everybody sat at and pounded away whenever you needed documents made. So those are all on second floor. And so we're really happy at where we are, but we're also going to take advantage of some other grant money because there is still more brickwork that needs to be done. We need to repaint the side and back of the building and repair underneath the display windows. Wood is deteriorated there. So the work is ongoing, but we really made a lot of progress. So
that's awesome. I know I had the chance to go through it. I think it was last summer we went through. You took us
Yes.
took us through it, and it was really neat. It was. It had been a long time since I'd been up there, and so it was a neat experience to go through to see all the antiques, lots and lots of neat stuff. But this, I didn't know about the second floor, and the museum pieces and things up there were really interesting. I think we even snuck into the third floor, which was it was really interesting, and to hear you tell about the history of the building itself and what it used to be and how it was. It was neat.
but due to insurance and security,
Sure.
we don't go to the third floor.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But anyway, so we look forward to this mall being successful and continuing. And what was fun also, Blake, was that many of the people that came in said, well, I've never been in here. Union City people. We have people that come from Texas with vans and load up stuff from Union City and take it back to sell it because it's so inexpensive here. And we don't think about that, you know. And what was also fun, all of the kids that were here from Ball State with the jazz group found something to buy. And we had senior help day. The seniors from here, when they graduated, were involved in a lot of the helping us just do clean up and carry out and get rid of junk kind of things at the Antique Mall and the Old Hotel Museum. But what was also fun about that was there were 3 or 4 of the kids that said, when I get my graduation money, I'm coming back here because I see things I want, you know. So it's interesting that we see it now appealing again to young people as well as older people that remember items that are in there. So it's new treasures for younger people.
Yeah, it's a neat place, and I know, you know, like I said, I hadn't been up there in a while, but it is something that I think it's easy for those of us that are local to kind of take for granted.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I didn't know that was here.
Yeah, but it's definitely worth stopping in and checking out. But I know that was a busy day downtown. I mean, June 11th, you had your stuff going on. There was stuff going down the street. It was a busy day.
A fun day.
Yeah. And so that's great that we were able to do that, and so I'm glad it was successful. I know K.I.S.S TV was up there, and so I'm sure we'll get some stuff in this episode because they were up filming the jazz ensemble and things like that. So that's awesome. And I know we've got some other things for Preservation Society sitting laying here on the table. Is there anything else we wanted to kind of touch on?
Yeah, I would just mention again, and I think this is posted on the information board but Preservation will be hosting its annual 4th of July picnic for veterans. Excuse me. And it's free to all veterans, and then any other people from the community are more than welcome to attend, $5 per person. It's just a donation to help cover the cost of the food and so forth.
Sure.
And then another major project that preservation has ongoing till December, we need to raise $10,000 for a statue of Governor Gray. And there's still a lot of people in Union City that don't even know Governor Gray, the 18th and 20th governor of the state of Indiana, was from Union City.
Well, and I didn't start hearing the name Governor Gray until fairly recently. So, I know we're doing some work down the street, so to speak, to build something to honor him as well, and I think in conjunction with this. So tell me, because I mean 18th and 20th, that is also the first time I've heard those numbers.
Yep.
So tell me about.
Well, it's interesting because, well, first of all, so I was approached for preservation about getting together money for a statue from Joshua Shepard.
Okay.
And he just recently did a beautiful bronze, if people haven't seen it, at Shawnee Prairie of Tecumseh. His work is well known now, many places. And anyway, so here we have the 18th and 20th governor of the state of Indiana that was from Union City, and again, many people don't even know that. So the new housing district, I think, is intended to be called the Governor Gray Edition.
States or something like that.
Something, yes. I don't know the official name of it, but the statue will be part of that edition. And so I've approached Joshua about making a statue of Governor Gray, and that's where that figure comes from, all right? But Governor Gray was from Ohio originally, migrated from Pennsylvania to Ohio, then from Ohio came to Indiana. And while he was in Ohio, his family was very poor. He was Quaker raised and educated. Came to Indiana because during that time in Ohio, he had worked at a dry goods store. And so he came to Union City because Union City was bustling town now, see, because of the railroads.
Right.
So he thought this would be a good place for me to establish a dry goods store, which he did. And in the meantime, he is thinking, okay, this is working. I need something else. He was never quite satisfied.
Okay.
He wanted to do the next step and the next step. So he decided he wanted to be a lawyer. Well, there wasn't any law school in Union City or close by. So he educated himself and passed the bar in 1861.
Okay. Wow.
And established a law practice in Union City, and it was successful. Then the Civil War. He was a corporal and a general of troops during the Civil War, and there's more story to that, but came home from the Civil War and decided, now, okay, I'm a lawyer, I've got the dry goods, what do I want to do next? And he wanted to become involved in government and politics. So he ran and lost. And
now that happens.
yeah, and he was elected senator from the state of Indiana. And during that time that he was senator was when the 15th Amendment was up for passage, and it was being held for one state to make the official count pass. He locked everybody in until they voted. And so there's a credit he received sort of for seeing to it that the 15th Amendment passed. He ran for governor, didn't get it. He was appointed lieutenant governor, and then the existing living governor died, and he finished out in 2018 or in 1918 as for about 2 months to finish out the term. So he thought, aha, now I'm going to run for governor. He got beat.
I see the 18th and 20th, so there's a term in the middle there.
Oh yeah, yeah. But he ran again and was elected. And just a couple finished comments about him. So while he was the 20th governor, the money was set aside for the monument in downtown Indianapolis.
I was wondering about that. And
Soldiers and Sailors Monument, yes.
Because when you said he was from, it was Civil War, and I had been downtown and heard some of the history of the monument, and so
Yep.
I was wondering if there was a connection there.
There is definitely a connection there. And then he finished out his term, and Cleveland, President Cleveland, selected him to be an ambassador to Mexico. And he was in Mexico, came home for a funeral, contracted pneumonia, double pneumonia, and died as a result of that. And that was the end of his career and the end of his life. But it was a very colored life. Union City boy.
Yeah, sounds like he had a very interesting life.
So anyway, long story about him, and there is much more, but that gives a cameo of his work and his efforts as governor. And again, we are collecting money. So if anybody is interested, these forms are in the city building. If you want to make a donation, if you choose to make it to the Preservation Society, it's a 501c3. So if you give a sizable contribution, then you could deduct that as a contribution to a 501c3.
Well, that's interesting. And as always, you know, Ted, you have got a lot of things. You got a lot of things going on, and your work seems like it's never finished. And I know I appreciate it, and I know lots of the community does appreciate it. So,
but it's fun.
It's fun, yeah. I mean, I'm sure as long as it's fun
work,
more days than it's.
But I mean, you know, you step back, and the time is well spent.
Well, good. I'm glad. And like I said, I know I appreciate it, and I heard some of the bits and pieces that are connected to him, but not exactly that he was from Union City, and so that's really interesting. Do you say his full biography is uptown as well?
I have a printout of the full biography, as well as these sheets that are for, you know, donation. And they can make it there, or they can pick one of these up, take it home, discuss it with family or whoever, and just mail it in to Preservation Society at 101 North Columbia.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, again, Ted, thank you so much for coming on the show. Always a pleasure catching up and talking about different things. So make sure if you get a chance, stop uptown and check out the Antique Mall. There's 30 plus booths and different things in there. So freshly cleaned up and ready to go. So take a look at that. We also have the Veterans Picnic coming up
on the 4th.
On the 4th.
Yep.
So
11 till 1 o'clock.
So yeah, 11 to 1, go get yourself some lunch, enjoy the downtown and the Veterans Park and Artisan Park that's right there, right around the corner. And then if you're interested in donating to the statue of Governor Isaac P. Gray for the new addition down the street, stop by the city building or reach out to K.I.S. or whatever, and we can get you that information. So again, Ted, thanks so much for coming on, and I look forward to having you back sometime for whatever new and interesting thing you've got.
Whatever else comes up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, the thing that really inspired me to continue doing jazz after high school specifically was how much fun it is to just recognize when you hear something that you've been working on, or, you know, your friends have been playing something for a little bit. It's inspiring, and it's so much fun because it makes it's not just, oh, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna play my part, I'm good for the day. It's, you know, we don't know what we're gonna play when we're up here until we play it, you know, and every moment that goes on from start to finish, it's almost always different from every other time that we play. So that's what inspired me to play jazz, for sure. Bye.